It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. It was the age of wisdom, it was the age of foolishness. Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. Just brushing up on some of my favorite literary classics. Even if a page turner like this isn't up your alley, did you know our libraries offer so much more than classic books? There's also things like passes to local museums. You can download ebooks onto your Kindle device. And super cool things like a team gaming program. Visit your local library and see all it has to offer.
That's two. That's three. That's three. That's four. That's one. That's two. That's three. That's four. But I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you good.
I can't hear you though.
I heard your mic. I didn't hear this one.
I hear you when you.
Okay. When I make noise.
Oh yeah.
All right, then. Welcome to the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club. I'm your brother John.
This is Qiana.
And you with the intellectual gangster, your brother Danny. Good morning.
And this program is being brought to you as part of the New Image Project. That's Community Development and Training Center, aka See That?
See
That.
Ooh. Yeah.
And we redefining what's cool.
Yeah.
The smart
Is
The new
gangsta.
baby.
Yeah, man.
That's John DMC.
Yeah. Yeah, I see what you did.
That's John DMC,
I
right?
see what you did.
Can you
Yeah.
hear me? Because I can't hear you.
I can hear
I
you.
promise you can hear you.
Okay,
And that's what's happening this morning. So I can hear you and her, but I can't hear me.
Okay.
And
I'm
you
gonna
can
back
hear.
up. I don't want to eat the mic.
Okay, gotcha. I got you. Sounds good. Facebook, let us know. Can you hear us, y'all? How we sounding in Facebook land? And also, while you doing that, like, share, tag a friend. Tell them tune in and that Tampa Bay Breakfast Club is on. We got a lot going on, a lot happening in the world, man.
Ooh.
So make sure that y'all tap in. Y'all have a good weekend?
Yeah, I think I did. I'm trying to think. You know? Oh yeah.
You just have it and move on.
I mean, yeah. I'm
Yeah.
here. I didn't read about myself an obituary.
Yeah, that's always a good way to
You
start.
know, so I mean that's a great start.
Yep. That's a good way to start, yeah.
Yeah.
On the right side of the dirt.
Yeah. And Pride was this weekend.
Yeah, it was.
Well, it's been all month. But
Yeah,
we had
the parade.
the parade and
Yeah, absolutely.
they partied
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah, they do. I was out there.
I saw you. You were in the
I was
parade.
in the parade. Yeah.
You and the missus.
I got that bead slinging thing down too, boy. This is my third parade, and
Now you got it.
Yeah, you got to have the right wave to throw ratio, or you'll run out of beads.
or it don't make it to the people.
No, it was like so we did it. No, I know how to sling them too.
Okay.
I had a little hook going on.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to. It's like you ball them. I done tried a few ways to sling them, but you got to like
ball.
And I was getting them to them.
Put some weight on them.
Yeah, that was the game for me. Like look them right in the face and be like, bam.
That's for you.
Yeah. So,
shout out to Sister T.
Yeah.
As well.
Oh yeah, she was slinging.
Yeah.
She still got to work on her flick though.
But she was there.
But yeah, she was there. We was there to support my daughter, man. Really, she was really excited and happy that we came. She's been going for the last couple of years, and I wouldn't go. And she said, "Y'all should come." So I was like, "Okay, I'm coming in." We in it, as council members, and so it worked out.
Right.
Good. So I spent the day with my family. So
that was good.
So, yeah.
I mean, when I say it was partying.
Yeah.
Partying.
See, I just stayed in my little spot. I missed the party. We party. Sister Cherie, shout out to Adu Yates and Cherie.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we spent some time with them. They had a little incident that we had to de-escalate. Well, they de-escalated at the parade. At the parade, yeah. It was with staff about a bathroom. You know what I mean? But
it's all well.
It's all well. It ended well. And so yeah, it's all good, man.
How was your weekend?
Yeah,
my weekend went well. I don't usually have bad weekends. I had a fantastic, very brief though appearance at a baby shower for my nephew.
Okay.
And yeah, my newly expecting niece.
Congratulations.
So, yeah, that was pretty awesome. It was interesting though because it was kind of genre bending in that I come from a genre where men didn't go to baby showers.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But now I think our generation is changing it now. So
it's
making it definitely more inclusive on that end.
Yeah, you're right.
No, it is
Right.
definitely inclusive. I mean, because there's games, right, that you play with men, like the balloon in your shirt, and then you have to tie, you have to do stuff
Yeah.
like women typically have to do while they're pregnant to show you like how hard it is. Whoever gets it done the fastest.
Okay.
So
I'm
yeah.
trying to think if I've been to a baby shower. I think I might still be in that genre.
I just think that might be the time that we come.
Yeah, it might be the time.
So you're not baby
I
shower
don't think
ready.
I've been to a baby shower.
Not really.
Not really.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. You don't gotta be baby shower ready. What about you?
Baby shower ready?
Yeah.
Nah, just saying.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, my kids are old too.
Yeah, it didn't get me excited. You know, like baby shower. I contribute. Send something.
Send something, but you don't.
Bless you, but
You don't want to play the game.
So is the baby shower and gender reveal the same thing?
No.
Okay, because that's another thing too that I saw in the past few years where they do the gender reveal.
I've never been to a gender reveal.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, no. So usually the gender reveal is before the baby shower.
Okay. Well, I mean that makes sense because you know what to buy at the shower. So,
pretty much. I mean,
you know what the shower.
But you know, with parties now, they have come in so elaborate.
Yeah.
And so fantastic and so over the top.
Yeah.
You know, it's like who can I do who? What theme is the best theme? And
yeah, I think that's been consistent though.
Yeah, but I mean, I like
they
it.
ain't just not started doing it. But that's what's up.
No, I'm
creative.
No, but I'm just saying they're bigger though. Like we've always had baby showers.
Yeah.
But now you
like show enough.
Yeah, you have coming to America showers.
Okay.
Yeah, sisters are creative. I definitely have to say that for the baby showers that I have been to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean the creativity that go into the games.
Yeah.
They had one game at one baby shower that I was in. They had to take a time count of how to put together socks. So matching socks. Yeah, after you find the match of the socks and put the socks together and all that. So I said, well, it's creativity. You gotta love it.
Sounds like it.
Good morning, Crystal.
Officer Hawkins retired.
Okay.
Shout out to Hawk. So Michael Hawkins was honored as the longest running school resource officer in Pinellas County history. Let's give it up for Mike Hawkins, Officer Hawk. So after 41 years of service as a school resource officer and hometown hero, Mr. Hawkins actually returned in his uniform. He said he spent 25 years at Gibbs, where he built thousands of meaningful relationships, improved the lives of students, and his service was also so impactful that the Pinellas County School Department renamed the SRO of the Year award to the Michael A. Hawkins Award. So there's an award that's named after him, and it's given to those who have outstanding performance as a school resource officer.
It's a man who changed my life personally.
Yeah, there you go.
Because at one time it was a little more gangster than it was intellectual.
Okay, yes, sir. the intellectual to gangster ratio. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So he was able to help me there at the time of crisis. So I
Okay.
thank you so very much.
That's what's up. I went to the man cave on Thursday. Yeah.
Who is this person?
Hanging out. Well, I mean, you know, probably once a quarter I'll go over to the man cave and do the interview with Bunk and D and James Swain. And we had a good conversation on the couch at Urban. So shout out to them, man. I always love, you know, I got to check in with my people at the man cave. So we was over there. St. Pete Strong too.
How can we forget about St. Pete Strong Conference?
Yeah.
That was
it was. It really was.
Zine. Like this is like our 4th year going.
Yeah.
And
they took 2 years off because of COVID. So I think they came back. Maybe was it last year? They came back last year. I think they came back last year, or maybe not.
I'm trying to think. I know Qiana did it last year.
Okay,
sure.
so that's
She
when
did it last year.
I think that's when they came back.
They might have. Yeah.
I know they took 2 years off.
Okay.
So I took 2020, maybe 21 off.
Okay.
And they came back last year. Yeah, but St. Pete Strong, man, and it was packed, man. And I learned a lot. Like I canceled, so I ain't have to, but I was like in there, and I'm like, man, I drive by St. Florida Polytechnic.
So you ended up staying longer.
I did. I left probably like 3 o'clock.
That was not the
plan. Florida Polytechnic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, driving down I-4, I done rode by that spaceship-looking building, you know, lots of times, and so I was like, I wonder what they do there. Now I'm here. I'm like, oh, we get a tour? I just jumped in with group 7, and I was like,
and then you was what? You was with 7 the rest of the day.
That was it. Just rolled it out.
But you know, if your kids don't, if you don't know anything about St. Pete Strong, and it's the Dream
Faith
Foundation.
Deontay
They do
Thompson, man.
Yeah, they do some amazing things every year. They teach the kids coding, STEM. They bring entertainment in. They have a live DJ. First of all, they give away the coolest gifts. You get laptops. You get
tablets.
Like, you get it out. Like, you don't even know. All you have to do is participate. Because, like, Cheyenne started it off. She sung, and then they did Before You Let Go. And it was like, get up. And the staff got up. And then the one little boy got up. And all it takes is one. It's one. And when you get that one up, then they got up. He ended up getting a free tablet for all the kids that didn't know. They was like, if you don't know, then this is
what happens. You have to beg them to get up no more.
No. And they feed them. Like, so it's an amazing. And the fact that these kids were able to get out of
St. Pete, Pinellas County, went over to, and it was a robotics demonstration. So they had the robotics team that competes every year, and actually one of the robots that was built by high school students, and the high school students who built it was there. They had, coding workshops. Physics, we did like a physics game where we was working with like electronic.
You was in that.
Come on, and trying to win too.
I
know. I'm like, look, sat at the cool kids table.
You said it's cool. No, but it's really, really dope. And usually it's at St. Pete College. And the fact that they were able to take a few buses of students.
From the rec centers.
And the rec
centers that they were District 7, group District 7 and 6, and so it was like Frank Pierce, Childs Park, Wildwood,
Lake Vista,
Bartlett Park. And so they had the team camping in and other people who registered. So shout out to Dream Faith and that whole team, man. For that one. I see we got books today.
Shout out to science. Shout out to science. Shout out to robotics team.
Yes.
Because who married the finest person in the science lab?
The finest scientist in the lab?
Okay.
I would say that was me.
Okay.
And I tell brothers all the time,
scientists in the lab.
You can find them in the club, but boy, they fine in the lab.
Yes, sir.
Come on over here, pineapple.
That's it. That's
right.
Pineapple, come on over here.
Come on over here, y'all.
Red. Hey, Red.
Listen, we were in Spain. I lived in Aravaca, Spain.
Okay.
So we're walking down the Osmayor, which is the main avenue in the city that we're in. And we walk past a door, and I hear somebody from the inside yell, "Amarillo."
Okay.
Amarillo means yellow.
Okay.
Amarillo. Amarillo.
Okay.
We were laughing because we were coming through where Maximo used to be. An old man drove up, Crystal's walking. An old man drove up the road down the window and he said, "Red." I said, "Chris, well, you get a different color everywhere you go."
Everywhere you go, you yellow in Spain and
red in the States.
And pineapple with me.
Pineapple.
So, Friday's show, we really did miss your presence. Because we were talking music.
I heard you.
We were talking the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
We needed the mermaid to come in and
I called. I did call. I threw a little
was a great
sprinkle.
show, too.
That was.
That was a lot of fun.
That was on the way to the conference.
And that's when we realized we were going to the same place. Like, we both go.
Like, wait, you got to be in Lakeland too by 9:30?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Connected the dots.
Shout out to King Jam and Mr. Edmund, because that was a really fun ride on Friday. We really had a good time. That was we had a ball.
Yeah, you did. I could tell the list was amazing too.
Because it was everywhere. You know what I mean? Like, usually you say like hip hop or you say R&B, but it was kind of like, but it really made me really think, because like I just love music, right? So I can't really, like, you can play, people who get in my car and be like, one thing, you're gonna hear some different music. And, like, you just never know. Like, I like country, like I like it all.
Right.
So you get in there, we listening to Eminem 1 second, and then the next go round, it's Tim McGraw. Yeah. So, and then we got Boyz II Men, Chris Brown, Hurt. Like, it's like, yes.
Expand your gangster.
Yes.
Do you think that your love for eclectic expression in art kind of bled through to Cheyenne's ability to be so good as an artist?
Yes, I will say that. Like I say that I knew it was like a 99.8% chance she was going to be a singer. She was going to be an entertainer. Like I knew it. It was in my bones. Me and JR was young and we met singing, so we were in a community choir together, and so that was like our thing. And then when I was pregnant, like he used to sing to my belly, like give me little mini concerts, and she'd just be like, "Ooh," you know. So I just knew it was just, it was, possible. Yeah, I knew it.
Speaking of singing in your family, Emil.
Yeah.
So I spoke at New Faith yesterday.
Okay.
And Emil, he just didn't beat the drums.
I know, but he got it in.
He sung, like as he was playing, and I'm talking about, he sung that song, man, had everybody in tears. I was up there, my eyeballs were sweating.
So he has an album.
And I didn't know that.
So he did a whole album. So this is the thing about Emil. Emil liked to play like really quiet and shy.
And so that's what I'm gonna tell you. That's what kind of threw it off for me too. Because when he came in, he saluted and he sat down at the drum. Like, okay, I'm the drummer. Still, they got me in the pulpit too, so I'm all, trying to make sure I don't cut up too bad. So I'm sitting up there and I'm just watching what's happening. And he come in, and then my wife, she was like, I know him from somewhere. And then afterwards, she realized that he drove us in the parade. We were just talking about full circle. So I think it was either the MLK parade or the
Christmas. The MLK parade.
Okay, so he drove us in the MLK parade in his Jeep because he's part of the Jeep Club. And so he was like real laid back and,
always.
Emil was Emiling. And so when he like broke out in that song, she was like, oh my God.
So another funny story, right? Yeah. So, I do the same puff and paints, right?
Yeah.
So shout out, like I have the best brothers in the world. Nobody can debate me in that because I call, they come, they love their little sister, they love their big sister, like they just come. E is always there. E is all, like every Sunday he picked me up Sunday and we do Sunday dinner. Like it's just our thing. But so same puff and paint. Cheyenne is taking the mic around and trying to get men to sing, right? And everybody like, they can't really sing. Then Emil get the mic and started singing. No, the man was like, yes, we got Joe over here to
He can sing anytime, anything, man.
Shout out to brother Emil.
Okay.
Yeah,
wow. Yeah, and he had that like that, and it was gospel, not your genre, but he had that, man. He had that from the gut, like, oh man.
And then he played so shy with it. He was like, oh yeah, no,
I wasn't shy about that.
No, but then he like break out. So yeah, sorry.
Can we get a little point of history on gospel?
Yeah.
Very briefly, since we're talking about it.
Go ahead.
I am actually a relative of the man who created gospel music.
Oh, really?
A man named Thomas Dorsey.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm a member of the Dorsey family through my mother.
Right.
And my mother, who was also a singer, was also.
So gospel is in your bones.
It's in my blood.
Yeah.
Right. Remembers when you would get put out of the church for singing gospel music.
Really?
Yeah.
You couldn't sing gospel music.
So what did you sing?
No. They sung spirituals.
Okay.
But that wasn't considered gospel.
It wasn't considered gospel
because the original name for gospel was the gospel blues.
Okay.
So Mahalia Jackson used to get put out of churches throughout the country because of the way she sung the music.
Like Tina Turner. Like
similar,
Tina, remember at the movie when she was saying, it's like, don't you sing like that. And she had the walk home. Yeah.
So that's a part of the culture at the time. Yeah. Like, don't do that.
Gospel is really a 20th century invention. And a mid-20th century invention because it was considered inappropriate to come in, quote unquote, singing blues music. In the church. So what a lot of the things that we consider the gospel, the long runs and the hard guttural cries and these things were not considered
the growls.
Yeah, they weren't considered appropriate. C.L. Franklin, Aretha Franklin's father, was one who really pioneered not only the introduction of gospel music as a respectable form of art in religion, but with the way he preached. C.L. Franklin was really the first preacher to do the hard stop breath.
Okay.
So I asked your brother John, is he giving us that kind of speech?
Oh no,
Remember,
it's actually online. Yeah.
Yeah, but
no.
he was like, he just said.
No, I'm more of a teacher than a preacher.
Okay.
Traditional preaching, right? And so I mean, if you feel it, you feel it. But I'm like, there's not a point in there where it's like, okay, I'm gonna really woo them now. It was just going with
and
receive
the word.
Yeah, and it was received good. I went longer than I was supposed to.
Oh, so you was feeling.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the culture that I come out of in the mosque is an educational space, and so we do more lectures than necessarily, just delivering a word. And so as I was preparing in the way that I used to prepare when I used to do it every week, and didn't realize that I wouldn't be able to get it over in the 30 minutes that they gave me, and but they stayed with me, and that was the other part. Once you and people
nobody put up their fingers.
No, they just was like going. They was like in it. Man, God really blessed us to deliver, some clarifying words. We talked about some of the misunderstood words between Muslim and Christian and Islam, and we used Our Father. I'll tell you what, go to New Faith Free Methodist on Facebook, and you can watch
we'll have to watch
the replay.
Speaking of faith, today marks the season of Hajj.
Yes.
So today marks the season of Hajj for the Islamic community and all those participating in Hajj who did not do Umrah. We want to say for everyone, happy, thankful Hajj Mubarak.
Yes.
Hajj is a very, very intense and physically intense thing, so make sure that you remain safe.
Yes.
Human trafficking is also a problem with Hajj because you literally have people coming from all over the planet Earth.
Right.
And they're all coming to Mecca right now. So make sure that you be safe. Make sure that you practice everything that you.
All general orders in effect.
All general orders in effect, and be safe on Hajj this
year. Yeah.
So they come and get the women.
No,
trafficking,
no, you got a purpose for being there, but then everybody's not there for that purpose.
Right. So then some people snatch up people.
Yeah, because you got millions of people coming from all over the world, and everybody is not genuine in their reason for being.
God would not be pleased with those folks.
And people get lost at airports.
Yeah.
So if you have to come from, my sister and her family now are in Thailand.
Okay.
And it's very easy if you have a 36-hour flight to lose people.
Oh wow.
So just be really careful as you travel to Mecca. And enjoy the experience of Hajj, which is a celebration of black women.
Yeah.
And people don't know that. But the Hajj itself, the name Hajj, comes from the word Hagara.
Yep.
And Hagara was she was the Egyptian wife of Abraham.
They call it Hagar.
Hagar
in common tradition.
Okay.
Yeah. Hajj comes from Hagara, Hajara, and it means to travel with purpose or to travel with piety. And the entire ceremony is based around following in the footsteps of this African woman as she's trying to locate sanctuary for her child. It's an extremely symbolic ceremony that a lot of people don't understand.
True.
There's a reason why the kiswa,
Kiswa,
which is a covering, it's the black covering that goes over the building, the Kaaba in Mecca. There's a reason why that covering is black. It's a reason why that stone is where it is and why it's encased in a silver symbol that looks a lot like the female reproductive symbol. It's a reason why it's in the cornerstone of the building. The entire ceremony itself is a ceremony commemorating and worshiping and lauding love onto black women. Absolutely. And people don't understand this because they've never been taught.
Yeah, look, I heard that was a thing that make you say, I was waiting for this one too. So June 26th is Forgiveness Day. And I know we got a hot take on forgiveness. So Forgiveness Day is celebrated on the 26th of June. Forgiveness means different things to different people, and today is the day that to shed old grievances and grudges and forgive those who have wronged us. So, what does forgiveness mean to you?
So, I forgive. Like, I'm one of the people that don't really hold grudges, but I don't forget.
Okay.
So, it takes a lot for me to completely cut you off. So if I cut you off, that means you have done a lot. And I can forgive you and love you from a distance, and you don't have to still be in my circle.
Okay.
Is there a process that you undertake for forgiveness? Is that a ritual, or is there? I say that because I know. Well, I always regulate the spiritual to the feminine, because I think that the feminine has to have a level of spiritual intelligence that the masculine cannot have.
Mm-hmm.
In that the feminine has to be able to care for life before life is present. The feminine has to be able to prepare mentally, to prepare a womb. In Arabic, it's called the superlative. It's the, and you'll notice if you read Quran, you'll notice that you'll have attributes that'll be given and then a superlative will be given. So let's say Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim, the beneficent, the merciful. It'll say Al-Ghafar, Al-Ghafur, the forgiving and the oft forgiving.
Right.
So it'll double up.
Yeah.
Well, when the feminine has the ability to provide for the world of the seen and the world of the unseen at the same time, the masculine doesn't have that ability. They have the ability to understand it, but they don't have the ability to feel it.
So I don't have a ritual or anything that, I think for me, I have understanding. So maybe it's the scale in me, maybe I can't tell you, but like I'm really good at seeing both sides and seeing where somebody else could perceive it, or their perception could be different, or why you do what you do, and necessarily it doesn't have nothing to do with me, even though I may have been a part of it, or have a bomb go off and then it wasn't meant for me, but I was in the area. So, it's casual fire in this sense when I think about it. So that gives me a forgiveness that I give people, because I know that a lot of attacks are not personally against me.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with me. And then when I realize who people are, I know hurt people, and jealousy is real, and all that other stuff, and it makes you do things that that you typically wouldn't do. Now, they don't make them good people.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just let me know who you are, and that I can love you from a distance. Like, I don't need you in my circle if you're that type of person. So that's kind of where I'm at with the forgiveness. But the good thing about forgiveness is that it's your forgiveness.
Yeah,
so like, I decide who gets my forgiveness. Yeah. Like, I can forgive Brother John, and then I may not forgive Brother Donnie, but I forgive all y'all. Right. But you know what I mean? And y'all could have did the same thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It depends on how deep that relationship is, if there was malice behind it, and all this other stuff. So it's your grace to give.
That's it. Do you have any particular rituals, I guess, aside from Salah?
As it relates to forgiveness,
yes.
No, not really. For me, it's just about the energy. So it's not like me like thinking like, oh, I'm gonna forgive you, or like it's not like that type of intentionality with me. Mm-hmm. I just move on, and there's some things I can move on from. And then sometimes it's just you can move on, and it's not like declared for me. It's not like, okay, well, I forgive you. I don't really do it that way. And like unless it's like a real instant or personal thing. Like me and my wife, we kind of go through. I guess it might be considered a ritual. So it's like, I let her know. Like when she upset with me, like we got this process of atonement. Mm-hmm. So she'll point out the wrong, I'll acknowledge the wrong. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And then I confess the wrong and feel bad about what I did. Mm-hmm. And then I'll ask her, is there anything that I can do to make it up to you? And then after that, she'll be like, yeah, well, you can, buy me some ice cream or whatever. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So I guess it would be, a ritual, but it's not like we don't sit down and say, okay, we're gonna do step 1, step 2. It's just a part of how we practice. Like I know if I've offended her, then I go through that process and like I'm mindful, like, okay, I apologize, or vice versa. She'll apologize in her own way. she got a way that she do it, and then we get to the point. Yeah. And then after that. Then forgiveness just naturally occurs.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not.
Because you ever been mad at somebody and then so this is being mad at your partner is the worst. It's one, because usually you talk to them, you like have your little own little car. So something happened and then you want to pick up the phone and call,
Yeah.
but then you mad.
Yeah. No, I don't.
No, I'm just saying, like sometimes.
See, if I get to the place where we was mad and I want to pick up the phone and call, I pick up the phone and call. That means I ain't mad no more.
Right.
Because when I'm mad, I don't want to pick up the phone and call.
But you ain't never had the moments like, oh, I wish I wasn't mad.
Nah, I don't do that.
Okay.
I'm quick. I'm a little quicker with it because, like, man, look, we got. You never know.
Yeah, no, you don't really know.
So you got to take them. As soon as you feel better about it, go ahead and move on it. I don't force myself to stay mad. Like, if I'm no longer mad, I'm no longer mad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's forgiveness to me.
So I know you don't.
I heard you say it. Yeah. I heard it. Yeah, that's what I was doing. I was like, I can't wait to hear about
you don't really give you forgiveness.
Hot take, y'all. You listen to the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club on 99 Qiana. And today is Forgiveness Day, and we're giving you our unique perspectives on some hot topics sometimes. Y'all know how we do it. And we're talking about forgiveness today. It's Forgiveness Day.
Qiana he developed something he called the two cradle hypothesis. Meaning that the way that we see our interactions with the world is heavily dependent on the material conditions in which we came into existence.
Okay.
So you'll hear me say oftentimes, people of the sun don't do that. People of the he narrowed people down to people of the sun, people of the ice, and people of the sand.
Okay.
And he said that these three individuals, these types of human beings, relate to the world differently because of the cradles, the ecological cradles that they came up in.
Okay.
I think it is very, very difficult for people of the sun, who are usually people who originate between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. Okay, so that's usually the people who now constitute Central and South America, much Central South America, much of the African continent, much of Southern Asia, and much of Southeastern Asia. And he said that people of the sun behave differently. People of the sun tend not to deal with the idea of scarcity. So they tend to not deal with the idea of long-term planning for scarcity.
Yeah.
Long-term planning for scarcity usually informs the way we believe about selfishness. So people of the sun can eat a mango, can drop the seed, and can know that 5 more years I have a mango tree.
Right.
Because that's how it works with the people of the sun. So they don't concern themselves with scarcity or loss, usually. Right? Because they understand that there's going to be plentiful.
Yeah.
One thing that you don't do is you don't ever import individuals that you plan on enslaving if those individuals are malnourished. So you don't hear any cases of people being malnourished when they get on slave ships.
Right.
Right? Why is that? Because they come from a place where everybody eats. Well, if you have a situation where everybody can eat, then you don't think about how you can rob somebody of something else. Right. Because everybody eats. It doesn't even come into your psyche. Right. So I think the people of the sun have a forgivingness about them that you don't really have to inform with any kind of sense of morality.
Yeah.
That's just something that they do.
You don't have to teach forgiveness.
You don't have to teach it to them.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. Like, for me, it's just kind of a natural thing. You just kind of process it out. You know, it's like a bowel movement.
Before your brother.
Okay.
I think that a lot of the fact that I don't believe in forgiveness, I don't think that we have the capacity to forgive. And I don't think that we have the ability to forgive anyone for anything. I think a lot of that is informed by agnosticism.
Okay.
Meaning that I don't believe that a people's goodness comes from any other being outside of that people.
Okay.
I've noticed, though, in the study of religion, usually what you'll find is that people bring their goodness to their faith systems. You were good already.
Yeah.
And you made your God reflect your good. So there is no being above your own natural cultural sense of goodness.
Okay.
I've noticed that in my studies. That's just me, academic perspective. So I have to act on it. And when I act on it, what I say is, okay, well, then there is nothing that's regulating forgiveness. So if that's the case, I can't regulate forgiveness either.
Okay.
What I can do is something Dr. Maya Angelou said, and that's give forness.
Okay.
Because you'll still feel the injury. The injury is going to be there. How do you respond to that injury? What Dr. Maya Angelou said was, when someone injures me, I give to someone else.
Okay.
And I give to someone else in honor of their injuring me. She says, instead of forgiveness, this is give forness. So she says,
I got to process that. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, she
That's
says
a lot to try and take
she
in.
says somebody might lie on me, but if they lie on me, I know that somebody else is going to get a sack of potatoes.
Okay.
Because they'll lie on me, I can either take that lie and embrace it.
Okay.
I can either be harmed by it, or I can use that lie that they did to me, that injury that they sought to do to me,
okay,
to give good to somebody.
So instead
else.
of paying it back or paying it back, you paying it forward, and you use the opportunity of the injury as as a way to pay it forward and do something for somebody else.
Give forwardness.
Okay.
Okay.
I hear that.
I'm not mad at it.
New concept.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sharonda, thank you for doing what you do. I appreciate you.
Sharonda hopped on and just started.
She went to work. We said like, share, and tag, and she understood the assignment. John Bailey, I see you. I see you, big bro. Appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. So yeah, I knew that was going to be a good dialogue.
Yeah.
And people often say forgiveness is the gift that you give yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not a gift.
Okay.
If that's the case, it's not a gift. It's just part of your culture. It's part of who you are.
Yeah.
But we live in a world where people of the sun don't necessarily have power. So we usually end up forgiving things that we shouldn't forgive.
I agree.
And we usually end up granting grace to people who deserve punishment.
Yeah.
I agree. And this is where this grace, you decide what you put in your world, your bubble, your atmosphere at that point. But I don't disagree.
Yeah, because when you talk about people of the sun and the way we experience things, I remember watching the what was that? When the guy shot up the Ebenezer Church, in South Carolina, and
Mother Emanuel.
Mother Emanuel, my bad. Mother Emanuel Church.
No, they shot up Ebenezer as well.
Yeah, they did. Okay, so
when they killed Martin Luther King's mother, they shot up Ebenezer.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So when he shot the people in the church, and he was unrepentant, and before he was even arrested and charged, basically, they were talking about how they forgive him, and and I had a problem with that, because he's not asking for forgiveness, and I think that's another part of what repentance has a lot to do with forgiveness as well. When we're talking about acts like that, and I get the gift that you give yourself and that whole thing, but I'm like, come on, because the people of the sun was offering forgiveness to somebody who didn't ask for it, and then on the other side of the coin, when you look at some other incidences from people of the ice, they ask, do you forgive him? No. We want him punished to the fullest extent of the law. We want justice. They don't want to forgive. They want justice.
They want justice.
They want vengeance. They want they and so it's like, okay, you can see the difference in the two people. To your point.
It is. You see the difference, and you see what we were taught. Stay humble, turn the other cheek, and everything that they do not do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
they ask you to, love those who use you spitefully, and then they're the ones who using you spitefully.
Right, and then as soon as you look at them wrong, they off with the head. Yeah. You know what I mean? So you definitely need to look at that and see how that plays a factor in, as a culture.
Dr. Diop said that people of the sun seek joy. People of the ice seek power.
Okay.
And people of the sand seek wealth.
Interesting.
And he said that you can sum it up in that manner. And even in a place like China, where you have a section of China that's ice, a section of China that's sun, and a section of China that's sand, he says you will see that those interactions are consistent, even in the same place. So he said that if we understood the two cradle hypothesis, then we can best understand why the world is the way it is right now. It takes a certain amount of quiet cooperation to be able to live in an icebox like Central Europe during the late Pleistocene ages.
Yeah. And the other point that you made too about the scarcity mindset. I was just reading something like that too, when it talks about what causes people to be stingy or niggardly, right? That's a word. And what causes you to hold on to things. And it talked about if you have the belief that you can't create more, then you hold on to what you have. And so people who don't see themselves as being able to produce and create more than that little bit that you got, you think that's all you have and that's all that you can get. But when you have the ability to know that, or when you have the awareness to know, like we serve a God of abundance, and there's always going to be enough, there's always going to be more, then people who have that mindset are not as stingy as people who are operating from a space of lack.
Even in the way we interpret beauty. If you notice people of the sun, they interpret corpulence as beauty. She got to have some hips. She got to have some, what Manny Fresh said, arm, legs, backs, and breasts. Right? You got to be built a certain way, because that certain way reflects the way the earth treats us. The earth is fine in those areas, right? And it makes you fine. It's not just on the African continent. This is in the New World as well. Right. You ever been to the what they call the West Indies, to the individual cultures that we call quote unquote Hispanic cultures, and see how the women are shaped, how the figure of the women is lauded. If you've been to Southern India, you see the same thing. You see that the drawings, the way we make our letters, the arabesque form that we put on these things, it reflects being well fed and being well built. Now, if you look at that same representation for ice people, they see beauty as being small.
Yeah,
skinny.
That's right. Small waist, small thin lips,
and very young, prepubescent almost. Why? Because they did not live to be middle-aged. So if you wanted to reproduce, you had to reproduce with individuals who looked a certain way as soon as they were able to start their menses. So now you have individuals who begin to see beauty in youth. When, as people of the sun, we didn't have these restrictions on life. We saw beauty in its form. Beauty in the walk.
Right.
You can't walk well in the ice. You're living in caves in the ice. Right? It's the exact same thing. It's the way, you notice people in the sand find beauty in the eyes. And in the hair.
That's true.
Because their faces are covered.
Their faces are covered,
Because that's how human beings are. So I think that once we understand where we're from, then we'll understand how to relate to each other.
Absolutely. Y'all, you listen to the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club, the new 99 Jams morning show right here on WUJM. And tag a friend, let them know. Y'all follow Sharonda's lead, because she really killing it. And Royce, he put it in the chat, Iceman Inheritance.
It was an outstanding book. Make sure you that's one that you want to get, the Iceman's Inheritance, because it'll give you an insight on the way people move when they have ideas of scarcity. You know that before we were destroyed in West African society, through thousands of languages, no word for jail.
Wow.
Because we had never placed anyone in the jail. If you read Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Hurston, you see that Eatonville didn't have a jail, and that's in Florida.
Right.
Citrus County, I think Eatonville is.
Is that Citrus County?
It's Citrus County, right?
Yeah, I think, it's about, I don't know the county, but I know it's over there by Orlando, right? Because I remember being in Orlando and taking that ride to Eatonville.
So they
didn't have a jail.
They didn't have a jail.
Yeah.
The concept doesn't exist of locking people away for people of the sun. This is a foreign concept. They also didn't have old folks' homes. Okay. Because they didn't throw away grandmother. Yeah. She was considered a pillar of the society. As was mother, somebody to be protected, which is in the news now. Yeah.
We're gonna talk about that after the break.
But the idea is there, and the idea is that people of the sun behave differently, not better, not worse, but differently in the way we create communities and interact.
We are happy people.
Here's the world says scarcity is the greatest threat to mankind. I would say it this way: it's the scarcity mindset. I think, not scarcity itself, but the mindset that comes with this thought or this idea around scarcity, because it's always enough.
So this is what I see in our community when you look at our mindset. Like, we buy the houses, and instead of taking the equity out to invest and do other stuff to expand, most of in our community won't do it because they're scared that they're going to lose the house.
Well, I mean, and that fear is well rooted. I mean, like we have history of losing our properties, you know, to those types of deals, and so it's not baseless. I get it. It's true that we do have a lot of fear around that, and you don't want to, like, after it's paid off, we sit on it. We don't tap it and go into it. Or even if you see, like you said, you build up the equity.
Right.
Like they take it out and put their children to school. A lot of people do that, but the majority of our
different
community,
houses and expand, and you know what I mean, and flip houses.
Yeah,
it's just things that
they use the equity to advance their economic objectives and what have you. But yeah, we hold on because we've lost a lot. And then we're gonna talk about that as well. So we're gonna, after the break, we're gonna talk about the teen who shot a man who hit his mother during an argument. We have the book of the day. We're gonna get into that, and I think we have an Ask Qiana too queued up. And so we got a guest calling in. So we got a lot gonna be happening in this second hour. So y'all make sure that y'all stick around and let your friends and family know that the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club is up.
Right. So tag, share, send stars.
Yep.
WUJM 99.1 Carafesta Radio FM.
Yeah.
New Tampa Bay Breakfast Club.
New. We gotta say new.
5 years, baby.
5 years new. Yeah, we actually I think today might be the day.
Today is our 5th year?
I think. Don't you know?
Well, we've been saying it all month. So it's
the 5th year month, right?
It's the 5th
I
year
gotta
month.
get the exact date, but yeah, we're in our 5th year. Started in 2018, man, with a conversation with Mr. J. And so we're happy to be here and thank him for all that he's doing, all that he's done. And again, y'all stick around, tag your friends, let them know we're going to go in. We want to hear from you as well, so please call us and join the conversation. The number's on the screen, 727-637-2416. You can also take this opportunity to send us some stars. If you want to donate to the show, you want to actively participate and contribute, you can do that as well. Or you can go to the website, www.99jamstheberg.com, and give us a contribution there also. We'll be right back at 7 minutes after the hour.
Shoigu as evil and demanded his removal when he ordered fighters to advance on Moscow. Here's Sarah Rainsford.
There have just been...
District 7 is located along its north end on 5th Avenue North, all the way down to 54th Avenue South, from as far west as 58th Street to 16th Street South on the east. I'm Brother John Muhammad, your council member for District 7. We're standing in one of my favorite spots in the district, Clam Bayou Preserve. This nature preserve is a great destination for anyone looking to escape the buzz of city life. The park offers walking and biking trails and a launching spot for kayakers and paddleboarders. It's easy to stay active and outdoors around here. District 7 is also home to the Thomas Jet Jackson Rec Center, Genie Hall Pool, and the Childs Park Recreation Center, where you can spot one of our most recognizable landmarks in the district, the Dream Big, Be Big mural. If those destinations weren't enough, we also have the Skyway Trail and the Pinellas Trail, offering car-free mobility throughout the district and connecting to other parts of the city of St. Petersburg. If history and culture is what you seek, this district is also rich with options. From the Dr. Carter G. Woodson African American Museum, a stroll along the African American Heritage Trail, or a visit to the historic Manhattan Casino. Our local businesses shine in the district. Local shops and good food can be found throughout, including the Deuces Live Main Street and the 16th Street Business District. District 7's locations within St. Pete is also close proximity to just about everything, whether you're looking for access to downtown or the waterfront on the east or the Gulf beaches to the west. There's a lot that I can say about what I love about representing this district, but what it really comes down to is the people who live here, the people who work here, and the rich history of resilience, all due to a community that has overcome barriers to progress time and time again.
Of weapons and ammunition. Since Saturday, there have been reports of intense.
Qiana scared.
I'm scared. Peer pressure.
Peer pressure.
Look,
We had the conversation about peer
Brother
pressure.
John say, it's just like it gotta be done.
No.
And I'm soft pressed.
Yeah,
I'm soft pressed.
Yeah.
They call me the soft pressed bully.
And I'm full out peer pressure.
I like that. Qiana scared.
You scared. You scared. Welcome back to the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club. I'm your brother John.
This is Qiana.
And this is the intellectual gangster, your brother, Professor Doc.
And we actually have a guest in the building with us, but I'm starting to feel like maybe not a guest because you've been here regularly. We know you. You're a fan of the program and always stopping by to give us a good word. We have Erica Hardison in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give her a round of applause.
Thank you. I love the love.
Yeah,
Good morning.
yeah. For the people who don't know you, tell them who you are and which hat you wearing today.
All right. So for the people who don't know me, my name is Erica Hardison. I've been in the St. Pete community for over 20 years. Not a native, but I'm here for a transplant, very much so, from a long haul across the water. But we won't get into.
Why not? We got the intellectual gangster. You know me, so we do Good Morning Around the World.
Okay, so Good Morning Around the World.
Yeah.
So to all my people around the world, I'm originally from the UK, and then I say the UK, I don't mean London, I mean Cardiff, Wales, and so been in the United States for quite some time. As my mother said, I made a home for myself here.
So are your parents still
No, my parents are not, but I still have loads of family there. So
so your lineage and like where you the people, like your people's people, are they in the UK? Like that's
my people's people are in the UK.
Like my people in Leesburg.
In Leesburg. So my people's people are probably all around the world actually. Okay. So my mother is from St. Kitts in the in the West Indies or in the Caribbean, very small island, and my father is actually from Tennessee. So very Pop's represented, but lived in St. Kitts, the birthplace of a lot of things that people don't know. Right. But I've been in St. Petersburg for a long time. Like I said, I've raised my family here. I love the burg with all the good and the bad. We come to places and we make them better places. We make homes, we make families, we build communities. So that's what I'm all about. I taught in Pinellas County Schools for a long time. So shout out to all my former students who are out there listening. I hope you are. Yes, this is Miss Hardison. They'll probably be surprised.
I'll teach you on the radio.
Yeah. And then, just kind of coming up for the last probably 6-7 years, I've owned my own business, Encore Boutique Services, and where we specialize in it's a virtual assisting and resource consulting business. And so that's basically it. But
I appreciate
throughout,
that. Thank you.
I want to get into like, because I'm here, the hat I'm wearing is really the community hat. I'm here because I believe in community and believe in our power as a collective unit and as a people. So have been involved in the community ever since I came to St. Petersburg. And I wouldn't say one of the latest, but one of the projects that Brother John and I have been working on, and a bunch of other folks have been working on, is One Community Grocery Co-op. And what we are is we are a community-owned grocery store. We're a startup. It's a business, but it's a business that's owned and ran for and by the community.
I love that. Okay. I love that. And so the One Community Grocery Co-op, addressing food insecurity in South St. Pete. So I'll tell you my One Community Grocery Co-op story. When we created the New Deal for St. Pete, we did those 1,400 surveys. We talked to people who talked about what we wanted to see in the community, presenting the agenda. And one of the agenda items was support for cooperatively owned businesses, starting with a grocery store in South St. Pete after, I think it was Walmart, either Sweet Bay, one of them left. And it was like, instead of waiting for Superman, waiting for somebody to come and do for us what we can do for ourselves, how can we organize? And so we began having meetings and conversations. Erica jumped on board, and with her expertise and work in the food policy world, the other hat, right? And we incorporated the One Community Grocery Co-op and started building this institution so that we can move forward with that agenda item. Another one of the things that was just on my timeline when we talk about support for cooperatively owned businesses was we had some conversations around youth co-ops, and those conversations led to what is now referred to as the St. Pete Youth Fund, which was a cooperative point that came from the New Deal for St. Pete. That's why we're gonna have a reunion too, y'all. We have a New Deal reunion coming up real soon to talk about these things, because I know people saw the signs and they saw us going hard, and it's like, okay, what happened to the New Deal? For those who are asking, other people probably just forgot about it altogether. And so we're going to remind you that we have a body of work under that program that was really inspirational. And it
got a lot of stuff done.
Yeah, it was a catalyst for a lot of things that's happening in our community. And so shout out to the co-op, and thank you for keeping that thing alive. Y'all know I start fires and run.
Sister Erica and I we were briefly speaking before we came on live about just the benefit of co-ops.
Yeah.
And what a co-op is. As a student of Pinellas County's public education, we were very poorly taught economics.
Yeah,
so we didn't learn the value of economics from a global perspective. We didn't understand that one social aggregate produces its own economics.
Right.
So in the original model of slave and master, you had slave and master as a dichotomy, as a relationship. As it progressed to what we call feudalism, we had serf and vassal, or serf and lord, as the relationship. In capitalism, what we're under now, we have employee and employer. Well, the future of everyone owning what they can produce will get rid of that relationship. It won't exist anymore. There's a really good book by Richard Wolff called Democratize the Enterprise, in which he explains this. So the future is co-ops.
Right.
The future is cooperative ownership, and in that model, you have no longer the employer and the employee. You have the joint community ownership. So I think we got to see the sister, and the ideas, as bringing us in progressively, bringing us into an entire different economic paradigm. It's a huge paradigm shift that is more than necessary.
And we're in the future now, then. How about that? Yeah.
No, I mean, we're in the future, and I always talk about, why we're here, right? And I journal a lot, and one of my journal entries sticks out right now, because you have to, what do you work for? I work for, I work to honor my elders from the past. I work for the future, my children and those who will come after me. And I also work for the present. So like you were saying, Brother John spoke to the way that co-ops can help improve food access, health in the community, all these health disparities and discriminants of health, and all these things that we hear about equity, and these are our social, right, the social part of that. But there's also, like you said, an economic part of that, where we need to do for self. We need to be able to take care of ourselves. We need to be able to really understand and have ownership in something. And that's what the co-op does. It gives people the opportunity to collectively pool their resources together and own something, understand what that ownership means, because it's a democratic process. This is not the stock market where you can buy up a whole bunch of shares. We say in the co-op, one membership, one vote. So everybody has one membership, one vote, and you can't buy, one company can't buy a whole bunch.
One person can't buy 500 shares of it.
And exactly.
You only represent you.
You represent you, but collectively we represent our whole community. And
right.
I always go to this quote, and I probably say it a lot, especially when we're talking about community. We are only as smart as the people in the room, right? So we have a collective intelligence that we have to tap into. That's one of the things that the co-op is doing. Is like, yes, we want fresh, healthy, nutrient-dense food so we can take care of some of these health issues that can be solved by food and just by lifestyle, right? But we also, we want to not only survive, we want to thrive. We don't just want to maintain. We want people to really understand and invest in themselves. Like when I was on with Brother Jeff, he was talking about home ownership and getting in this program called the NACA program and things like that. We want to bring those things to the people. One of the principles, the 7 principles of cooperatives, is definitely education and training. So the co-op will not only be a place where you can get fresh, nutrient-dense food to feed your physical body, but it'll be a place where people can come and get information. It'll be a hub for training and getting people the knowledge to, after you take care of your physical body, you have something that will push you forward so that you can thrive.
Sister Erica, you said something last Thursday. Shout out to King Jab and Voice of People. You said something last Thursday that was so poignant. I listened very well to you. And you said, we are a self-determining people. You mentioned Kuji Chagulia and the idea of self-determination and the necessity to be able to provide for our own sustenance is the anchor of self-determination. I always say on the show here, if you don't control the land, you don't control anything. You're just at the whim of the individual who controls the land. So in the idea of the land being the provision of food, clothing, and shelter, I mean, a third of that is what you're doing. And just as a community, we all salute you. But knowing that you're in the position that you're in, you're at the steering wheel, and you represent the people, and you have the idea. You haven't been co-opted and corrupted into believing that the co-op should not reflect the best of our social values. And we thank you for that.
Thank you. No, my pleasure. And I think that you hit it spot on. It is really, we have to reflect what is in our community. We have to reflect our best. We have to have excellence. And how can we have excellence when we don't work together and help one another, right?
That's
so
true.
and that's the thing that we are really working toward, is really building alliances, building partnerships, helping each other. We are so much stronger together. And so we are for and by the people of South St. Pete, marginalized people who really need access, again, so that we can not only survive, so that we can thrive, but we invite others who support the mission and really understand that the leadership has to come out of South St. Pete, because if we are not developing our own leaders, if we're not developing our future, then, like you said, we will be at the whim of others. And that is not where we need to.
So where could they find like the community grocery co-op?
Okay, so right now we do not have a brick and mortar location.
Okay.
So what we do is we do pop-ups, like we've been at the Saturday morning shops
Okay.
with Renee Edwards. We have been at the youth farm. We've tabled at other events around the city. And so that's the beautiful thing about this stage that we're in, because we're in the organizing stage.
Mm-hmm.
And what will happen is we'll eventually pick a location when we move on, when we have enough people, but we want to pick a location that reflects the will of the people, right? And so that's it. So if you want to find out more information on where we are, you can visit us on Facebook at One Community Grocery Co-op, and or you can go to our website, which is www.ocgc.coop, and that's COOP.
Okay.
Outstanding.
This is, I'm looking for you because you be go ahead and like type it in. I don't see him on, but usually he just go in there. Yeah.
Could you mention again briefly how we can buy into the co-op, the investment
Yes.
that we can make into the co-op?
Right. So the co-op, it is a business. It does require an investment in what we call member equity. So it's $225. It's for individuals, and that's a one-time fee of $225. And you can make it in installments or payments of $25. So 9 payments of $25.
And it's an investment into yourself.
Exactly. It's an investment into yourself. It's an investment into the community, and it's giving voice. And what we do, we don't spend any of that money because it is an investment. It basically serves as a base so that when we do choose a location, whether we buy a building, whether we lease, and those decisions will be made by the member owners. But we use that as a base. It serves as a base for when we apply for grants, because just like we, thankfully, thank you to the city of St. Pete, we applied for the micro fund, and we did receive it. But one of the parts of that application, yes, thank you.
There go UB.
Hi, UB. But one of the parts of this process in entering a business structure in a business is you have to show that you have investment, that you're willing, or somebody's willing to put up some money for you.
Call it viability, right?
Yes, viability. You have to show your viability, and so that $225, which is the member equity, gets put into a savings account that isn't touched and is used for that purpose. Now, when we get into like the implementation stage and the feasibility stage and the planning stage, that money can be used, but that's decided by the members.
So what's the call to action that we have?
And give me 1 second, caller. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to know the call to action that we have, and then we're going to take our caller.
Yeah. So the call to action is we need people to become members. We need to hear people's voice, and we need you to join the co-op. We need your time, talent, and treasure. So please go to the website, and if you go to join, and again, the website is www.ocgc.coop, and that's COOP, and you can go to join, and it'll give you all the information that you need to join.
Right on.
Thank you.
Thank you. So you're gonna stick around because we got some hot topics and some good conversation.
Hello, caller. Introduce yourself.
Doing
wonderful.
Thank you for calling.
Hello. Oh, you're with Lakewood High School, right? Okay.
I love it.
So Thursday, the 29th, from 6 to 7:30 at Lakewood High School. Is it going to be in the auditorium? Okay.
We got audio. Is it coming from the board?
Okay. And what kind of jobs are you having there at this resource? Do you know?
We can't hear. See if we can like it. So much telephone teaching.
Okay, so it's just so this Thursday, what it will be, and I'm just kind of going over to recap. They can come in. Your mental can be taken care of. You have job resources as well, plus a plethora of things that the community need to thrive. And so this will be the resource hub this Thursday at Lakewood High School in the gym from 6 to 7:30.
Okay.
So there's no fee to be a vendor. So anybody can come and table and vend and do anything. Now, who do they contact? Okay, yes. Can you give me your phone number again? Thank you. Thank you for calling. We'll keep on talking about it throughout the rest of the day, throughout the show. And so again, if for people who are listening, Thursday from 6 to 7:30, you can go to Lakewood High School. It will be a resource center at that night where you can look at a job, mental health, and a plethora of other things. Okay.
Thank you for calling, Sister Cheryl. Good to hear your voice. All right. We'll talk to you soon. All right, you listen to the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club, the new 99 Gems morning show right here on WUJM, and we rely on your support as listeners to keep the shows that you love on the air, the doors open, lights on, and all that good quality programming coming your way. So please make sure that you consider, don't consider it, just do it. Make a donation, give. It's better to give than to receive.
Yes.
And once you give, you put yourself in a position to receive.
Right, because you can't outgive God.
Yeah, and the way that this works, if you give a donation for an advertisement, you will receive advertisement.
Yes.
Yeah, sponsorships. Do that.
And we will talk about your business Monday, Wednesday, Friday,
That's
and
right.
Sunday.
So that's what it is. So you can actually donate by going to the 99jamstheberg.com and give a donation there, or you can send us some stars and support the programming that we got going on here. So we have in the building with us Erica Hardison from the One Community Grocery Co-op, and we're going to continue to talk about the co-op ways that you can support it. But I also wanted to talk about it, and I'm glad we got this mix of energy in the room so that we can talk about this recent incident. It's a horrible incident, unfortunate incident that happened in Chicago, where, let me just get to it so I don't ad-lib too much about what had happened was, because y'all know we'll just start telling the story and leave
from my understanding.
No, yeah, right. What I seen, so a Chicago mother and her teen son have been arrested and charged for a shooting that occurred on Sunday at a fast food stop that left one man dead. So prosecutors say that Carlisa Hood, 35, was inside the Maxwell Street Express getting food when an argument broke out between her and 32-year-old Jeremy Brown in the Chicago Sun-Times reported this. Hood allegedly was texting her 14-year-old son during the argument, and he came inside. Brown then escalated the argument and punched Hood in the head several times. After Hood was punched, her son pulled out a firearm and shot Brown in the back. As Brown attempted to flee, the teen chased him and shot him again, according to these news articles. Brown succumbed to his injuries and was pronounced dead at the scene. After the teen stopped shooting, Hood allegedly told him to shoot Brown's girlfriend too, since she was laughing and encouraging Brown during the argument. In the video released by the police, Hood can be seen attempting to take the firearm from her son, but he pushed her away and they both got into the car. The mother and son turned themselves in on Wednesday. Neither have a criminal history, and Hood had a valid firearm owner's identification card and her permit to carry a concealed weapon. Hood was charged with murder and contributing to the delinquency of the minor, and her son was charged with murder as well. I'll let that breathe a minute. So, a lot of the comments online, I've seen a few things where one of the one of the pictures that was posted by one of the family members of the gentleman who was shot, saying that, it's messed up, he shouldn't have been shot, blah, blah, blah. And in the comments, they were like, you get what you asked for, he shouldn't have been hitting his woman, he was punching that whole "about my mama" conversation. And so I just wanted to introduce this topic and see what your thoughts are. And then we're going to provide some ways that we can de-escalate situations.
Okay, so we do need to have conflict resolution, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere. Let's agree on that, right?
Yep.
But we talk about men protecting black women all the time, right?
You got to take on that.
And as a son coming in, seeing a man beat on his mother, you know what I mean? I know my son would have jumped in immediately as well. So I'm not even mad at the son. And honestly, I don't think that he should be charged with murder. Now, this is Qiana speaking. The views that is expressed is not a 99.1 FM. This is Qiana. I don't even know if he's a part of the Breakfast Club, but if I know my brothers, I think they're kind of with me. And then when you start a fight, you can't tell somebody else how to react to it. If you throw a punch, unfortunately, you can't tell me what to do to defend myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he could have took him off. Whatever the case may be. I'll stay right there. Donnie, go ahead, and I'm probably gonna just go.
I know Donnie take on that.
Because it's like tag team. Cause I'm a little bit more like, Donnie's just finna go. Okay, go ahead. Go.
I was taught as a child, and this is from a father who was FOI and a mother who was MUT captain. Never be the aggressor with word or with action. Now there's a back end on that, but in case you're an attack, you have the natural, at that time it was the God-given right of self-defense. I think this is a textbook example of why you should never be the aggressor with word or with action.
Right.
I believe that women should be protected.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that women's egos should be protected.
Right on.
I don't think men or anyone else has the obligation, the moral obligation, the social obligation to protect women's egos.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe that if a woman is uncovered by the protection of a male, because men are physically stronger than women, then that woman's son plays the role of chief second.
Yeah.
I think that far too many black men in particular, when I say black, I'm using that as a placeholder. I don't like the term.
I know it. Yeah.
But far too many American Africans are booked for fights because the idea is that the African man's body is the rightful home of violence. That violence is home on a black man's body. And that violence is there wherever it's, issued out. It's home there. This is where it finds its rest. I think that from what I saw in the video,
yeah,
that man was begging to be killed.
Yeah.
By punching the woman over and over. Yeah. It didn't seem as if, now mind you, I don't know, but it didn't seem as if he was defending himself.
No.
It seemed like he was defending his ego.
That's right.
So I think that the biggest enemy in all of this is ego. Ego should be charged with murder. Ego should do life, and in all of us, ego should be executed.
Yeah.
We have to kill ego if we want to, not just put a Band-Aid on a sucking chest wound. I think this speaks to a larger societal problem.
I agree.
And that problem is the fact that it's so easy to cause harm to people who you don't believe should be there from the jump.
Right.
And so many of us, don't believe that we should even be alive.
But even to piggyback off of that and to think about it, the mother and the son was arrested immediately.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And you see a video of her being beaten.
Yeah.
The white lady in Ocala, they had to do an investigation.
Yeah.
Before they arrested the
one who shot
who killed the mother.
Yeah.
The white guy who shot the little boy for ringing the doorbell, knocking on the wrong door.
Yeah.
There had to be an investigation.
Yeah.
Before they arrested him. You know what I mean?
Right.
If you look at America and just see the mistreatment and the injustice done, you know what I mean? To our people, it's just like
no investigation at all in that. You're
right.
It's so easy though to believe that the woman in Chicago is a savage when that's the message that's constantly being propagated and seen as empowerment.
Number one song on the radio.
I'm a savage.
Yeah.
How do you think savages are treated?
Yeah.
What do we put our savages in zoos?
Yeah.
Salvaje is a adjective that you use for animals, wild and savage.
Right.
And if you've lost the knowledge of self and you live in a beast life, then you get treated in that manner. And it's sad because this woman probably was not instigating violence. I don't know.
Right. And
but it's so easy to believe that they were, quote unquote, justified in arresting her because of the image that we so willingly invest in as being savages.
Absolutely. Erica, you have sons.
Oh yeah, I have sons, and I agree with the sister. Like if my sons came in, like quite honestly, you don't even have to physically.
Yeah.
You don't have to be physically assaulting me. It's just an escalation. But one of the things that I noted, and especially the brothers talking about ego, like the son, from the story as you told it, he was protecting his mother, right?
Right.
But when his mother said, "Oh, this one was laughing, so she should get it too," he said, he was like,
"Yeah, that's too much.
That's too much, Mom. Let's go." And it's sad, it's it's sad, like the brother said, that people are characterized in this way, that this is what escalation comes to, right? Because like these, the two adults, they're adults, and like we say, we tell our kids adulting is hard, right? Isn't that that's the thing now?
Stay in a child's place.
Stay in a child's place, but adulting is hard. But when we have to learn to de-escalate, right? But a lot of times there's this poem, and it's so funny because I read it last night, and it talks about what you teach a child, and if I can find it, I'll try to read it. But one of the things is when you are raised in hostility, you learn to fight.
And Chicago is a
hostile environment.
Right, it is.
Right. And so for me, we look at the roots of everything. The brother took it all the way back, and black men's bodies are raised, and black people are raised to take abuse, right? Right. And the black woman is stronger than anything, right? You never find out how strong a black, what is it, a woman is until she gets into hot water. She's like tea and all this stuff, which is, which can be the lived truth, right? Like, because I know a lot of people, think you're around here like Superwoman and Superman, but you do have feelings, you do have emotion, and it's hard to step out of that emotion a lot of times. But when you're being physically abused and nobody steps in, right? There were other people that were watching.
There's a video.
But somebody was watching. But see, this is what happened. People stay out of people's business now. For the fact is, they don't want to get killed. They don't want to all this other stuff. So they don't jump in.
Because they don't want that aggression to come back on them.
And then
right?
and then somebody else, the story, the narrative is different at this point. Is that now my husband jumped in to save you, and now he's not coming home.
Yeah, because you've seen those stories where a man will intervene in a situation that's domestic, and he get beat up, and then the couple leave together. And so you do have to, choose your balance in the stereo.
You do, but hear what I heard in this story, which is kind of. They say the mother told him to like get the girlfriend, but then in the same breath they said that she tried to take the gun from her son, right?
So let me go back.
Somewhere in there.
Hood allegedly told him to shoot Brown's girlfriend too, since she was laughing and encouraging Brown during the argument. In a video that was released, Hood can be seen attempting to take the firearm from her son, but he pushed her away, and they both got in the car to leave. And so it looks like the son was in his protection mode. The threat had been eliminated, and mom is saying the girlfriend is also a part of it. She trying to take the gun from him. This is what I'm interpreting. She trying to take the gun from him, and he won't give it to her, and so they just get in the car and leave. But it looks like it could have been worse if the son would have listened to his mom and gave her the gun, because she had in her mind that she wanted to do harm to him.
Oh, see, I didn't even hear. You see how you flipped that? I took it as is they just trying to spin the story because that's alleged.
I mean all of it is allegedly
alleged, like somebody.
They have video surveillance from the store, but what the video that's circulating is the video of the actual incident,
right?
With him like saying, "Oh my God, if you say one more thing, I'm gonna hit you. Oh my grandma, I'm gonna hit you." And she said one more thing, and then he hit her, and then he just like continued to like, and you can see he was really trying to do her harm. In the comments, there were people who again allegedly knew him, and they said that a couple days before that he had beat up another woman and almost disfigured her, her face, and like so it was like a pattern again, all allegedly with this young man, and it just didn't end well for him on.
Has anybody asked the question of where the 14-year-old child, because he's a child,
yes,
black boys don't get an opportunity to be children.
No, sir.
They have to be son husbands. They have to be protectors. He was out of his role as a son because there's a fail-safe. Has anybody asked what this woman's husband was?
No.
I mean, she might. I mean, she may have not been married. She might have not been married.
You don't know.
You don't know.
Or his father. Has anybody asked where his father was?
Yeah.
Because
where he is now.
Where he is now.
Yeah.
And I think these are questions that go. And I'm not disparaging people who aren't married. I'm just saying these are questions that often go unasked.
Yeah.
As if you get a 14-year-old and a mother, and they just spontaneously appear.
Well, you think about this though. They were at a hot dog stand, and so they might have been getting Papa hot dog too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
But you haven't heard anything.
Yeah,
you notice
yeah. That doesn't come up in the conversation.
You never once hear any of this.
And
you don't hear about any other man except the man who was murdered.
And you know what I had as I was looking at the story, and I was looking for which one I wanted to pull from to be able to recite today. A lot of the narrative had they kept painting the man who was deceased as the victim. They kept saying the victim, and like you said, the savage of the woman, and like it was just interesting how they were framing the story. Like when we saw it and we saw the video, and most of the people who were like on my timeline, it's about my mama, everybody supporting the son and the mother, but the stories were favoring the victim, and I think it's because he was shot in the back. Because they said he was shot in the back once. He was attempting to flee, and the 14-year-old continued to shoot, and he shot him in the back a couple more times, and then I think he got shot a total of maybe 3 times.
So I like how you said that, but this is why I think, and this is when the race card is gonna come in again for me. It's because he was black, and the people who killed him was also black. So now look, if this was a white man, if you would have flipped it,
white woman and a white 14-year-old,
right, and a black man was aggressively, and started to beat this white woman up, and her husband and her son came and killed her, she would have been the victim.
Yeah.
Right? There wouldn't have been
she would have been the victim. They would have been within
their
rights. They would have
been justified.
They would have been talking
ground.
about this is why it's important to have your concealed carry permit.
Right.
This is why good people need guns. Like
and
that
this
whole
is,
thing.
and then when you look, you want to ruin the black family, and now not. So a black man is gone, right? And he's a victim, so you can't bring him back. So now he becomes a victim, and now the other 2 people become the aggressor, and now they're put in prison. Yeah. Right? And it's the narrative that they want to paint that we are, as a whole, savages. Right? Yeah. And so you look at how many lives are ruined by this one guy being aggressive, and now 2 other people may be in prison for life for this. Yeah. But if this was a different scenario and they had been white, I guarantee that he would not have been the victim.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, refuse that express.
He would have been the savage that needed to be put down.
Right.
Because and we're saying this like this is not prejudice, right? Like it's not prejudging. This is counting them for what they did the last time, and the consistency of their pattern when you see the different races of the parties involved in these situations. But I wanted to maybe see if we can transition into some, that Monday morning quarterback of what could have been done differently, and how, can we, de-escalate these situations, because this is one incident where it starts with an argument over something, and if you're in a hot dog stand, more than likely I probably don't know you, and so my beef with you is not to the point where I'm ready to like physically harm you or even take your life. Like I didn't walk in there thinking I'm gonna kill somebody today, or I'm gonna beat up an old lady. She not old, but I'm not gonna beat up a woman in a hot dog stand. Like you don't walk into the hot dog stand looking for a fight. Something had to occur to it, and it just escalated to a point of violence. And that's what we're seeing a lot in our community, where these little small incidents, seemingly small, principled incidents, ego-driven incidents.
And so this is an ego thing, because he said if you say one more thing, I'm gonna punch you.
And he was like, "Oh my God, just get your food, lady, just get your food." And
we don't know what she said.
Right. And so that's the other part of it. So he's like, "Oh my God, just get your food." And so it's people in the comments saying she just should have got her food and left. And that way he wouldn't have hit her in her face if she would have just got her food and left. That's another part of the narrative.
But another part of the narrative too, that when we look at this, there are all these little microaggressions, right, that happen to people every single day, right?
Yeah.
Like that, and let me say specifically that happen to Black people every day.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so when you have, it's sometimes it's to that pressure point. You know, someone keeps on having a micro. You woke up, microaggression. You went down. You know, you saw your mom. Something happened, microaggression. You went down the street, another microaggression. I just want to feed myself and get something to eat. Dang it, another microaggression. Somebody pushing and pushing and pushing. And so it's really important that we learn how to self-regulate. And I hate to say it like, you know, and put it back on us. It's something that we have to do, because these microaggressions are not things that we cause to happen to ourselves. It's things that other people have in their mind and their views and their perceptions. And so it's really learning how to regulate that. And that's not an easy thing to do. And again, it goes back to the point when you're raised in hostility. When you don't have the confidence you need to say, like, man, this woman is out of her mind. Let me move on. I'm gonna get my hot dog and keep it moving.
But you don't know that if you were raised in chaos. Well, right? And go ahead.
I just want to say this. So glad that you're here. I'm a dialectical and historical materialist, meaning that I believe that individuals and the conditions that they have are directly related to the material conditions in which they live. We talk about aggression, microaggression, toxicity, but we forget that 1 in 20, I'm reading this from The Guardian, 1 in 20 tap water tests performed for thousands of Chicago residents found that lead in the water in Chicago is above the neurotoxicity limits. Sometimes we think, sometimes we pray for solutions that our environmental degradation have given us problems toward.
Because I remember, reading about the impact of lead and on your emotion. We talk about self-regulating.
Come on now.
Your ability to self-regulate. You being chemically poisoned, and it's dulling down the mechanisms in your body that facilitate self-regulation.
Let's understand this. In the individuals who are intoxicated, we have sometimes in up of 60% of these individuals come from environments where they're exposed to environmental toxins.
So now, who do we charge?
It should be. It's a whole lot of people, and the other part of it too is not. We get into those either or situations, and I think it's being able. I think it's both and being able to name it, so we're able to see the contributing factors to this. So we say, okay, we need to be able to self-regulate. Why can't we self-regulate? It's not that there's something inherently wrong with me as an individual. I have my environment. I have those things that are going on, but I also got lead in the water. Or I'm drinking alcohol or alcoholic beverages that have lead and manganese.
Come on now.
And the lead and manganese together have been shown to increase the propensity for violence.
Or I've gone to an elementary school that's been built on land that was once used as a battery refuse. And so I have lead there. I can't eat out of the ground, and I don't have co-ops to be able to give me fresh fruits and vegetables. I go to hot dog stands, and I go to corner stores. Ooh, I live in a food desert. And you break my legs at the race, and then you expect me to run it?
And then I live in chaos.
And I live in chaos where toxicity is how I survive.
And now I'm dealing with microaggressions on a daily basis, but I don't have the power to because the ones who, you see this power dynamic, because we talk about how we respond to white people versus how we respond to black people. The perception is I can't aggress upon a white woman the way that I would aggress upon a black woman, because you see what happened when you look at a white woman wrong, or you whistle at her. You see Emmett Till. You've seen those stories of Carolyn Bryan and what she did and how. And so now you got a black woman that you can aggress upon, but it may not be her that you're targeting. You wrong targeting it. But like you said, you got this pattern of things that doesn't happen through you all day, and it's this last thing, this last straw, and it's this woman saying something, and all you trying to do is get a hot dog. I get it, but that still don't give you the right to haul off and hit a woman in the face.
Right.
And it also, her son being present, like, what you expect? You know, as we said,
and he wasn't present. She called him. Remember, she
texted him, and she has a concealed carry permit. And I think that's what that is. You know, when they talk about contributing to the delinquency, that's the other part of the narrative. Is in the other stories, it made it seem like the 14-year-old just had a gun and he walked up and had a gun. This story, that's why I chose this story, because it alluded to the fact that she had owned the gun legally and she had a concealed carry permit. She had the right to have this firearm. But the other stories did not include that. It just said a 14-year-old, she texted him and told him to come into the store, and he had a gun in his waist, and they show him in the video, you know, pulling the gun out and shooting the guy in the store. It's a sad situation all the way around.
Yeah, and I just I wanted to share this as while we're talking about like solutions, like you know, and I hate to say this, but it unfortunately I feel like it's going to be hard to help all the victims, right?
Yeah.
In this situation, but what we can do, and I'm gonna give a little plug here, because the Healing While Black conference, which takes place right here in St. Petersburg,
that's right.
That's put on by the Well and Dr. LaDonna Butler, is happening.
It starts Thursday. It starts Thursday and go all the way into Sunday.
And they cut funding. They cut funding for the
July.
That's the trauma recovery center. Yeah.
They cut funding for the Well, right?
Yeah, we go.
Right.
Let's talk about that on Wednesday. Okay, let's talk about that on Wednesday, because this, I don't think this is the end of this story. Like, it's going to be this is going to be in that news cycle because of just all of the dynamics of what's happening, and so you'll see more and more coming out as this story progresses.
So what? Yeah.
But I do want to, I love the babies, and this poem talks about children, but I think it's applicable to adults, because as we grow and mature and we learn different things, we should be incorporating them into our lives. It's called Children Learn What They Live, and it's by Dorothy Law Nolet, I think. If a child lives with criticism, he learns to condemn. If a child lives with hostility, he learns to fight. If a child lives with ridicule, he learns to be shy. If a child lives with shame, he learns to feel guilty. If a child lives with tolerance, he learns to be patient. If a child lives with encouragement, he learns confidence. If a child lives with praise, he learns to appreciate. If a child lives with fairness, he learns justice. If a child lives with security, he learns to have faith. If a child lives with approval, he learns to like himself. If a child lives with acceptance and friendship, he learns to find love in the world. And I think, this poem to me speaks to the way, and it says he and child, but we can really substitute. It's if a person.
They don't say children,
right? Because you know, and that's it's the quote. It's easier to raise a child than to repair a broken man or a dog, right? So we really have to embody this as we are moving through the world, and I guess that's my healing, right? Because I'm definitely not one to say, like, I'm not gonna pick a fight, but like Brother said, don't bring it, and we'll go at it.
I'm definitely from the school of the last lick, and I'm trying to get it. I'm trying to get it.
But it's these things. It's really, and again, we have to look at the environment, and it's not like, I'm here and talking about the grocery co-op and having access to fresh and healthy, nutrient-dense food, because that does change things. I will tell people, like, people ask me, like, girl, how do you do it? I've been a vegan. I just thought about this almost 30 years.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That was before it was trending.
Yeah, before it was
Yeah,
trending
yeah.
and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I tell people sometimes I feel like, that has really helped to center me.
Mm-hmm.
And like Brother John will tell you, don't pour no water on the concrete now.
Right.
But I don't know if Brother John remembers this story, but just in terms of the environment,
true.
like
that's true. I remember that. We had a cooler and we would, at the end of the event, we were pouring out the water. She said, "Oh, pour the water on the concrete, pour it in the grass."
Yeah.
Right. We gotta nourish the earth. But we don't think about those things. And as we're walking through this world, we have to think about how we are taking care of one another in those micro ways, not only in the macro.
So this has been a great episode. We got 2 minutes, so we gotta wrap it up.
The final thoughts.
Final thoughts.
All right, y'all. So who want to kick us off? Go ahead, King.
With me?
Yeah.
Okay. My final thought is usually the same. It's going to always be the same. It's expand your gangster. But expand your gangster into understanding your situation. Know why you do what you do. Know that the only thing that's wrong with African people is the fact that they think that there's something wrong with African people. I think that we have to, brothers and sisters, family, everybody in the earshot, everybody watching this on Facebook, we have to start using science to free us. If we find that areas that we're in are violent, test your land, test your water, and test your air. We did not come here the way we are now. We were made that way. We've been poisoned that way. And we live in an environment now that capitalizes off of our toxicity.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah. For me, it's about let's make this happen cooperatively and collectively. And how we can do that is through, joining one community grocery co-op. I'm going to put that in there so that we can not only heal our bodies through health, but we can heal it through economics and all the areas and really become whole once again.
Right on. I think a lot has been said, and it's more that needs to be done and needs to be said. So thank you.
Be the change you want to be or see. Write down those 5 things.
All right, and you've been listening to the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club on 99 Gems with your brother John.
This is Qiana.
The intellectual gangster, Professor Donnie.
And we out. Believe and do good. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. That's our outro, right? That's the outro.